Welcome to the latest episode of the Rank Podcast. Thanks for making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. We are available wherever you listen to your podcasts, also on YouTube as well. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Rank Podcast. Give us a like, subscribe, 5-star review, however you can help us out. We certainly do appreciate it. I'm Garrett C. Wright. You can find me on Twitter at Garrett C. Wright.
Garrett didn't introduce me, but with him, as always,
I just thought you were going to be I'm Don Garwood.
Co-host Don Garwood. You can find me on Twitter at Donnie_G.
Also on Twitch.
Also on Twitch at the same place, same name.
He's maybe more fun on Twitch.
Yeah, I'm a lot more.
Like I promise you,
I'm a lot more fun on Twitch, especially if you like vid games and
pure unfiltered Don.
Yeah, and speaking of vid games, we have a very highly requested episode. I mean, mostly highly requested by Garrett. But we have been requested.
We have
on multiple occasions
talked about doing this for a
year.
Time. Yeah,
for a year.
But basically, like episode 4 was like, we should do Cartridge games.
Like, okay, let's think of people. And then it just we were thinking of what we were gonna do today, and it was done. Like it gets brought up probably once every month or two about doing this particular episode.
What do you want to rank? I don't know. What do you want to rank? Do you want to do Cartridge games?
And it was nice having this one that we both wanted to rank in our back pocket for that day that we didn't have any ideas at all.
Right.
And apparently that day was today. We kicked that crutch out from underneath ourselves.
That's right. So we're basically flying without a net from here on out. You know, there's no safety net for now.
No.
Until we decide we're going to rank Leonardo DiCaprio movies.
Yep. I wanted to get a little.
Needs more research.
I need some more research on that. There's a couple Leo movies I need to see yet.
We've all been there. You know, I haven't seen Man in the Iron Mask.
I haven't.
It's like, you could be making up movie titles right now. I'm not sure if you are. So we're going to rank our favorite Cartridge games. And, Don, I'm going to go first.
Wow.
I'm selfish.
Wow.
I completely understand your thought process. My number 5, and it feels like it should be higher, is Duck Hunt from NES.
So you're considering Duck Hunt a different game as opposed to the one that was
the old combo?
Literally on the same. Yeah, I always thought it was a combo.
Yeah, I was considering it its own game.
Okay.
Should I not be considering it its own game?
You can.
I love Duck Hunt because I looking back, I think I enjoyed the feel of the static from the TV. You ever get too close to the TV and you could feel the sprite fuzz from the TV?
Yeah,
and your mom's like, "Don't put the gun on the TV."
Yes, but also no. I mean, I would get the static from the TV just messing with the TV, but not playing Duck Hunt. I was a sniper even back then, so
I could sit 15 feet away.
No, I was 5 feet away because that's as far as the cable.
I was going to say, I was going to be like, wait a second, the cord's not even that long. No,
it wasn't wireless.
I had a modded Duck Hunt gun.
1994 modded Duck Hunt gun.
Wow. Okay. All right. No, I loved. It was just fun. It was so simple, so easy, and then that damn dog either was on your side or
that dog. I've shot that dog more times. I've shot that dog more times than any duck. I would intentionally miss ducks just to get that dog to pop up.
That dog, and you're like, ugh. So I've got Duck Hunt at 5. It ate up so many hours of my childhood that I could not make it in the top 5.
Okay, so you've got the Duck Hunt for Nintendo. Nintendo Entertainment Center. Entertainment System.
Yes.
You've got Duck Hunt.
I do.
My number 5 is not Duck Hunt. And my number 5 is not on the Nintendo Entertainment Center system. Mine is on the Sega Genesis, and it is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You may think that this is a little early for this.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I do.
But trust me
Yeah,
in what I say, that this 3 through 5, and even honorable mention, we're in every position on my list. Except for number 1. No, one of them was even number 1 at one point. And then I thought of what my number 1 is. But they've all jumped around into different positions, and I locked it in right before we hit record. Like, I made the list. We took about a half an hour break, thought of next week's list.
Yes.
Ate supper, sat back down. I looked at my list, and I said, nope. Sonic 2, moving to number 5, and I bumped some other ones up.
So I feel like it's important. It felt like, at least in our area, there were like Sega families and Nintendo families. Or were you one of the rare unicorns that had both?
We had both. We had Nintendo Entertainment System. That was the last Nintendo we owned until I had a Switch.
You didn't have a Wii?
No. Didn't have a Wii. Because that was when like PS3 and Xbox 360 came out, and the Wii had PlayStation 2 graphics. I was like, I couldn't be less interested in those old graphics. Patooey. Now, I enjoyed playing Wii, like at your place when we were in high school. But no, we had both the original consoles, like Sega Genesis, Nintendo, and then we were a Sega family from there on.
Gotcha. Because we were also a Sega family.
So I had like the smaller Sega that was like the size of a cartridge. Mm-hmm. Neil had the Sega 32-bit.
Ooh.
Neil had the master deck that you could add onto it, so you could play like the 10 games that they ever came out with that. So it was a little side attachment on the original Sega Genesis.
I didn't know this existed.
You could throw another one on, and there were different games that would fit into there. I think they were 64-bit games or something like that.
Which at the time is
Neil also had Sega CD.
So he was one of the 8 people
that had Sega CD.
Wow.
We also had Sega Saturn.
So he was one of 4 people who had a Sega Saturn.
Actually, I don't think Neil ever got Sega Saturn. I think I might have Neil had Sega CD. I got Sega Saturn for Christmas one year. And then we moved from being a Sega family because neither of us got a Dreamcast because those things were like $800 and they made 4 games for it before they went bankrupt at that point. We moved from a Sega family to PlayStation because once you got older, it went from PlayStation to Xbox, and that's still something that's going on now.
Right.
So we were a Sega family, then a PlayStation family, but this is about cartridge games.
This is about Sonic.
And this is about Sonic
2 at 5.
This is Sonic 2 at 5. Sonic 2 was much better than the original Sonic because, A, it had Tails in it. You could get that little assist from him and grab onto his hands and do a little helicopter around the map. You also you could actually down B. Like, you could rev up his hyperdrive speed. And the first one, all he would do was, like, somersault, and then it'd be over with. But in the second one, you could hold down and press B, and you ring, 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 and then just shoot, like, 3 screens away. It's a side-scroller game for those of you that don't know. But you could get a little boost of speed and kill anything in your way that doesn't have spikes on it.
But that was like Sega's thing was our stuff is so much faster than Nintendo.
Right.
Like you got Mario running around. Who cares?
So
we're fast.
It hurt me to put Sonic 2 at 5. But that's where it sits, and I'm sure that we may talk about it here again in the future.
No, we will. We'll certainly be talking about it in the future.
So that is my number 5. Garrett, what do you got at 4?
So we were a Sega Genesis family, and our cousins that we would spend a lot of time with, they were a Nintendo family and a Sega family. There was a Sega at my grandma's, so there was it was great. Wherever you go, you had places to play. So I've got a smattering of all of them. So my first one was NES. My second one, my number 4, is on. I played it on Sega Genesis, and that is Mortal Kombat 2. And I know for a while there, Nintendo would not allow Mortal Kombat on Nintendo stuff, and then when they did, they wouldn't allow blood. Well, as a morbid 8-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, I liked the blood on Mortal Kombat 2. I know I'm not going to get in too deep on the Mortal Kombat characters and stuff because that's a potential rank them down the line. But if there was ever even like a dispute between my sister and brother, like, all right, let's solve this with Mortal Kombat 2. And I have fond memories of the whoopsie,
Toasty,
whoopsie, or finish him. And when you got to finish him, it just was, it was the greatest triumph of your life that I.
Did you do fatalities?
Oh, of course.
You have them like written down on the inside of the book. You'd be like, okay, down left, down right, B-A.
B-A.
Fuck! I just gave him a straight punch and he fell over. Or I ran out of time and he just fell over.
Right, if you're not ripping somebody's spine out of their bodies,
what are you doing?
You're a loser. And I'm sure we'll talk about that more coming up. But Mortal Kombat 2. It's number 4 on my list.
Okay. So number 4 on my list, I feel worse about having this lower. I feel worse about having this as low as it is than I do having Sonic as low as it is. And this is the one I'm going to get a bunch of pushback on. But like I said, we were a Sega family. And this was on the Nintendo 64. I've got GoldenEye at number 4.
I don't remember who. Oh, I was talking with a coworker the other day about GoldenEye, and I was like, I hate GoldenEye because our friend Ethan knew where you respawned after you died and would immediately would find you and kill you before you could even do anything.
Well,
he was too good at the game.
So this was also in the age of couch co-op and couch multiplayer, so it was split screen. So really, and I used to be good at this too, and I could still do it. And like, if you were to play 1v1 me in like any Call of Duty game that I've put any substantial time into, I can just look at your screen,
know where you are,
and know exactly where you are and the fastest route to you. Where our friend Ethan would just, he could look at your screen, and you'd be like, oh, that's the red vent. I know exactly where he is.
Right, like he knew where you died, where you were going to respawn.
Oh,
you got about 4 places, and then immediately would be like, oh, I now know where you are.
You're 5 seconds later, you were dead.
Correct.
Yeah, I've got GoldenEye on there. The Golden Gun, classic. The Odd Job.
I was gonna say you got your Odd Job.
You weren't. Nobody was allowed to be Odd Job unless it was somebody's like first time playing. That was their little advantage that they got.
You are Odd Job.
But disadvantage of Odd Job is like you just get headshot all the time on like normal body shots. Like you don't have to aim to hit Odd Job in the head. Like, you don't have to aim up like you do every other character. But because everybody's used to aiming up, they'll shoot right over your head all the time.
Just the thought of that game pisses me off. Damn it, Ethan.
I never really played Ethan too much in it. I had my own demons to conquer in the town of Wilshire, Jordan Ponsler.
Yeah.
So that was mine, and I probably only played Ethan a handful of times, and
it wasn't fun.
No, and there are other games that I would play at the Hayes house that would piss me off more than GoldenEye.
Yeah. Might talk about that more.
It might get brought up.
Yeah. So on to our number 3s now. And I thought this is where you were going when you led into your GoldenEye.
Okay.
That it feels low to have it at 3. And that is Super Mario Brothers from the NES.
Mm-hmm. So
maybe the best video game ever? I don't know. There are many people who like it's. First of all, it's got the best like theme song. Boop 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 boop.
Then you go underground and you get that dark music. Then you go underwater and you go do 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 do
was so simple that I think that's where a lot of people start, right? Is Super Mario Brothers. So
that's where I started.
If you can figure out moving to the right on the D-pad and pressing A every once in a while.
My sister was ridiculous at Super Mario Brothers.
It's like the candy land of video games. Like, we're going to learn how to play video games.
Chutes and ladders.
Yeah. But, and if you're good at it, it's bonkers how good you are.
So my sister Stephanie, I've still to this day never beaten the original Super Mario Brothers.
I don't think I have.
My sister Stephanie was a mad lad at Super Mario Brothers, and like knew which.
Is she like listening to this right now, being like, "You're goddamn right, I was. It's about time somebody recognized my prowess."
This is the one thing that she'll bring up, like when we talk about like video games at the house or whatever, when everybody's together. This is the only video game I've ever seen her play other than like Rock Band. She could crush the drums on Rock Band.
She got rhythm
on medium, but
take it to high. She looks like a white person at a wedding reception, but on medium.
I don't remember if she ever made it to hard or not, but she would know exactly which tunnel to take to be like, okay, so on this one I go down and then I go to the third one tunnel. And it takes me to World 3-2. Then you go here to this one, it takes you to 7-1, and then you go to this one, it takes you to 9-3, and then all of a sudden
speed running through the game.
She speed runs through the game, and she's just done with it. Like I don't know how fast she ever did it, but she was the only one in my family that I saw beat it, and was by far the best at it.
No, I beat it when I was in Michigan. You guys wouldn't.
Yeah,
you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so simple, but also takes up, like, it doesn't get boring to me very quickly. You might disagree with that, but I enjoy it. So that's my number 3.
So my number 3 is similar to something that you've had on your list, but it's a much better version of it. And that's Mortal Kombat 3 for the Sega Genesis. Mortal Kombat 3 was... So we had the original Mortal Kombat, and then I think we might have had 2, but I don't really know.
We started it, too. I never had Mortal Kombat 1.
We had the original one, and then... Well, my brother had the original one. This is around the time that I got my Sega Genesis. So I got Mortal Kombat 3. And for the most part, when I played with my brother, it would be, hey, stand there, I'm going to beat the crap out of you and then practice my finishers on you. But I was all about it because I got to go and play Mortal Kombat. Did I get a play? Like every 3 rounds. Like he would let me actually fight against him. But he would try and do all of these different moves and then get super pissed because I wouldn't give him a flawless victory. Like he'd go for like a jumping attack and I just uppercut.
Damn it, Don! Because there was some satisfaction in it. Flawless victory.
Yeah. But no, I got Mortal Kombat 3, and that I probably put more time into Mortal Kombat 3, mostly playing by myself, than I did Sonic 2. Because at some point, I got better than my brother. Now, I say better than my brother, and probably what I did is I would just straight punch. Well, I had a specific character who had a high-speed kick, and then could also, I would just like spam uppercut as soon as he got close to me. So I wasn't better, but
he found
I would win. He found it less enjoyable to play against me. So I've got Mortal Kombat 3 at my number 3. And like I said, my list has jumped all over the place, and I had it at 1, I had it at 2, I had it at 5. But I'm comfortable with where it's at right now.
All right. Yeah, did you ever have a Mortal Kombat, like the original Mortal Kombat? Because I think we picked up at Mortal Kombat 2. Like, I think we picked up at Sonic 2. We didn't have...
We had the original Sonic. We had the original Mortal Kombat. I don't know that we had Mortal Kombat 2. Our cousin also had a Sega, so we could switch games between them. So I don't know if we had 2, but I also had, it's not going to be on your list, it's not on my list, was Sonic 3D.
Well,
and that was disgusting to play because it was the first 3D game I'd ever played, and this was in 1996. And so you don't understand how hard it is to control a three-dimensional character with just the left down, right up. Like now you've got the right analog stick so you can control where they're facing, but you're doing it only with the left down, right up, and then the camera just switches automatically what you're facing. So like you're holding up, but then you get too close to a wall, so the camera flips, and now you're holding up and you're going backwards. And
that's not.
It wasn't.
It's
it
not
wasn't
a good time.
It wasn't done very well. So, I've got Mortal Kombat 3.
At
3. At 3.
So time for number 2.
What is your number 2?
I love this game and all the variations of it. And that is Mario Kart 64.
Okay.
I spent entirely too much time playing Mario Kart 64. Wherever anybody had a Nintendo 64, do you have Mario Kart? Yes. Well, we're playing that.
Well, I guess I know what we're doing for the next 6 hours.
Right, for the next 8 hours, until your mom shouts down the stairs,
To
shut that off and go to bed.
Yeah.
We are playing Mario Kart. The old Rainbow Road, whew, as a colorblind American, let me tell you about my own personal hell, which is playing on a fourth of a 32-inch screen in 1999 that was, that was big. 32 inches. Holy cow, this is huge.
Yeah.
And you're playing your bottom right-hand corner in Rainbow Road, and you're looking in the wrong. You are looking at the wrong section of the screen.
With the worst controller in the house.
right. Like I can see the wires in this thing.
Everybody had 3 good controllers.
And then there was the bitch controller.
Yeah. It wasn't made by Nintendo. It wasn't even made by Mad Cats. It didn't have a label on it.
It was controller brand controller.
Twice the size of any other controller. 3 of the buttons don't work.
Yeah. All you got is an A and the analog stick.
But it always pulls to the left.
No matter what.
Yeah.
But the tracks are great on...
It's got a rubber band holding something together.
You're still... Yes. The tracks are great. The characters are great. The weapons are great.
Who'd you always run as?
I usually preferred to be Yoshi. Generally, that was...
Taken.
Yeah. Somebody's like, no, son, this is my house, and I'm Yoshi.
I was always Donkey Kong, if I could grab him. Key Kong. But I still have an affinity for Mario Kart 64, and even when Mario Kart came out for the Wii, I loved the N64 games that were on Mario Kart Wii, the tracks that were still there. So gotcha.
I love it. Would play it at any moment. If anybody asks, you find me walking down the street. I don't know why I'm walking. And like, hey, do you want to play Mario Kart 64?
If you find him walking down the street, he's got bigger problems.
I'm like, yo, you give me a lift to my car. And then, like, do you want to play 64, Mario Kart 64? Yes, I do. After we figure out what's wrong with my car.
So that is your number 2.
Number 2
is Mario Kart 64.
64. No loading screens.
No, there weren't any loading screens on the Nintendo 64.
But you got straight to the racing.
Like there was no loading screen in GoldenEye.
Nope.
So my number 2 is in that same family. It's on the Nintendo 64. It has Mario in it.
I knew this would be in your top 3.
And I didn't play it until I was in college. Because, like I said, we were a Sega family. We didn't have no Nintendo 64. And our friend Ethan, who had the Nintendo 64, didn't have this game.
Did not have this game.
And that is Super Smash Bros.
Falcon Punch.
You're
laughing. I'm not laughing.
I
Falcon Punch.
I think we... in our dorm room, we knocked out a piece of wood up in our closet that we wanted to see what was behind it. So like up in the closets in our dorm room, it was like wooden up top and they slid. But in the middle, there's just a piece of wood with nothing. We're like, what the hell's behind that? I don't know. Let's go find out. Well, we knocked it out and it's just an empty space. Like, oh,
That's dumb.
well, we have a projector. Let's put our projector up there. And we finagled everything around so that we would project onto our wall of our dorm room what was essentially like an 85-inch TV or however big it was. Like it was big. It was a big screen.
It was big.
It was our entire dorm room wall, really. And we would put GoldenEye on there. And we played GoldenEye and Mario Kart and all that stuff until our RA came over. He was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Oh, well, we have this projector and we did all this stuff. He's like, you got an N64? Yeah. Wait right there. He came back and introduced us to this game called Super Smash Bros. And he whipped our asses.
Because we'd never played the game. I didn't know what this game was.
But he let us borrow it. He's like, yeah, you guys can keep this there, get good at it, and then let me know. Let me know when you're good, and we'll play.
I'll still be your boss, but
because he had a friend from back home that was there as well, and so we eventually got good at the game and challenged him, and we would just constantly play Super Smash Bros. Me and my roommate against like the level 10 computer and beat the crap out of him, and then eventually got to where 2v2, it was 50-50 who would win between us and our RA and his friend from back home.
And he was glad to play you because you were somewhat of a challenge.
Yeah.
Not just,
and
oh, you guys are.
Now in single combat, like it was 1v1v1v1, he was better than us. But in 2v2, we had nothing but time to practice with each other and could take them out. And that I was also Donkey Kong in that because he was very cheesy. And you could just grab somebody, pick them up, walk them off the edge, throw them off the edge, and get an easy dub.
Was there a search for Donkey Kong at all?
There wasn't much of a search for Donkey Kong.
Gotcha.
But no, that was phenomenal. And our freshman year of college, I put a ridiculous amount of time into that. Like I bet it was 20 hours a week that we put into Super Smash Bros. Until, I mean, like Call of Duty World at War came out our freshman year of college, and we played it a little bit, but then we go right back to Super Smash Bros. Like if there was any more than two people,
right? I was going to say
Halo 3 was big. I mean, and we would go and play Halo 3, and then right back to Smash Bros. Like we put a ridiculous amount of time into it.
Right. Anytime you had more than like two people, it was like, you want to play Smash Bros?
It's like, no, we don't want to play it because you and Mike are...
Right, you and Mike are really good at it.
Well, you too can get really good at it.
If you play as much as we do.
And then we brought it home like winter break of our freshman year of college, and we were like, Ethan, let's play this game. He's like, I've never played this before. Beat the crap out of him. He's like, I don't like this. Let's play GoldenEye. No.
Yeah, no.
Let's play the one that we're good at.
Right.
Well, we're playing euchre now. Oh, my God. But I got Super Smash Bros. 64 on here.
Oh, so that is our lists up to number 2. We're going to take a quick message from our sponsors. Come back with our honorable mentions and our number ones.
Number
1.
Number 2.
Coming up shortly. All right, so we are ranking our favorite cartridge games, and we have got to the number 1 spot. But before we get to our number ones, I'm going to go over some of our honorable mentions. Don, would you like to go first?
Yeah, so I've got on here a Nintendo game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game for Nintendo. For Nintendo. And you could see this out at, there was a bar near us, like a bar that you could take kids to, like a restaurant that had a bar.
Right.
And in
during the day, it was a restaurant.
Yeah.
And at night, during the day, it was a bar, too.
Right. They had this game in the back. Now, we also had it on Nintendo, and it's just a side scroll, kind of like Street Fighter, where you jump, kick, and you can only really do 3 things. You can go left, right, up, down. You can go up a lane. Like, you can't move your character up at will, but you'll, like, go up a lane and stuff like that.
Keep side-scrolling.
And then, like, a bunch of people would come and fight. So you can't go forward at that point. You can't go backwards.
You got to fight your way out.
And you got to fight. So you got to kill, like, all these 10 people. And then it's like, move forward. And then you can start moving forward. And then you get to the end, and there's a little boss fight. And then you, like, all you do in those boss fights is jump, left, kick, jump, right, kick, jump, left, kick, jump, right, kick. And that's all you do the entire time.
But I loved it.
But you could do... you could do two people on the Nintendo version, but like the arcade version, you could have like all 4 Ninja Turtles are out there, and I think you could on the Sega Genesis version as well. You could have 4 people doing it. But yeah, that was what me and my brother would play almost constantly. Would be that game if he was in a good enough mood to let me play with him, or if he wanted to play it. Because at that point, I would just be like his security blanket where, like, he would die, and if I also died, then we'd have to restart the level. You'd just be like, go hide in the corner till I respawn. You got 8 seconds. Just jump, kick, jump, kick, jump, kick.
Okay.
I can do that.
Yeah. I will.
So, yeah, I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. My other one on here, and I'm ready for you to be shocked, is Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This was number 1 on my list at one point.
I feel like it starts there. Like, you start the list, and you're like, all right.
Do I enjoy this better?
Super
Yes.
Mario Brothers.
These are all better.
Right. That's the list starter.
It's the well, like you said, it starts at number 1, so it's what you compare all other games to.
Right.
Is it as intuitive as this game? Is it as fun? Is it as mindless?
Right.
Like, and the answer is yes, this is a very good game, and it doesn't really get boring unless you just keep dying on the same level and you can't beat it.
And you're just pissed off, and you.
I won't talk about it too much more because we covered it pretty heavily on your list. But I will say that when this game first came out, or when my family first got it,
Which is when it came out.
It could have been. I don't know.
No,
I wasn't alive.
Right. No, who cares when it came out?
It came out in my
when
house.
when I got it.
Mom was pregnant with me, and my brother would be playing this game, and even my sisters would be constantly playing this game, and so I had this as my phone ringtone in college. At one point, it was like the ba 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 da 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 da. Mom immediately had a visceral reaction. Was like, ugh, turn it off. Turn it off. I've got a headache. I'm going to vomit. Because it's just like reminding her of being pregnant with me.
Flashbacks of
it. And she was like, you need to get a different phone ringer because that is literally making me sick.
You're like, oh, okay. Sorry, Mom.
And I left it for like 2 months.
So I just call myself. Like, hey, Stephanie, call me real quick.
Pick up the house phone. Call my cell phone.
I want Mom to leave the room. Hold on. Give me a second.
And then because it just brought back flashbacks of like her being sick and then 4 kids fighting over the controller and who's Luigi.
Right. Everybody's, yeah. I can see why that would not be a fun little flashback there.
That is my honorable mention.
So I've got 4 honorable mentions. I will get through them very quickly. One of them, I got 3 Sega Genesis and a Nintendo. One of them was called Caesar's Palace, which why there's a gambling game on a children's gaming console, I don't know. But like there was horse racing. You could play blackjack, craps, poker, all sorts of roulette. Why was that a thing? Is it a reason I have a problem now? Probably. But I loved every second of it. Also, there was a game on NES that came with, if you got the right version, the Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers called World Class Track Meet.
Yep.
Which was amazing.
Did you have to get the mat for that?
You had to get the mat for that. And if you did the long jump and you did it just right, you could like set the world record because you jump and then you like land off the mat.
Yep.
And then stomp back on when you got to the very end. Like, world record. You're like, yeah.
I did it.
Right. Or like you had played it for so long. You're like, can we all agree that we use our hands for this 100-meter dash and not run? We just sit on our knees and
yeah.
And it was a good time. I like me. I seriously consider World Class Track Meet at number 5 over Duck Hunt because
You probably should have put it there.
you had to have all the extra space.
And I also probably, if I were you, I'd have put Super Mario and Duck Hunt on the same
line.
Yep,
that's fair. I also have NFL 95 on the Sega Genesis. Joe Montana on the cover, and also on the cover it says all 28 teams included, which that's how far back we're going. It actually got better reviews than the Madden game in 95, so I think that's kind of nifty.
So I had and still have the very first Madden game that came out in 1989 or 90 on the Sega Genesis
90,
with like 16 teams on there, something like that, which is probably why the...
Right, it's crazy. NFL 95 is like, we've got all teams included. Well, why wouldn't you have all teams included?
The other one I had NFL Quarterback Club 96 with it's either Steve Young or Joe Montana. I think Steve Young.
Yeah, it was Steve Young because it was with the 49ers at that point.
Yeah, and you could just grab you grabbed the Dallas Cowboys. You had Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin. You were unstoppable.
Yeah.
That team was the Bo Jackson of that game.
So NFL 95, they had there were no play-by-play announcers, so I actually liked it better because you got like the sounds of the games, just the and then you get a sack and you're like ha! You could flex on them.
Which one? Oh, it was the original Madden game. Like an ambulance would come onto the field and pick them up.
And then my final my final honorable mention cartridge game is Bassmasters Classic.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Bassmaster game. I don't know why. I spent so many hours just dropping my lure down the water, hoping and searching and praying that some big old fish would. I liked riding the boat around the lake, picking my spot.
I also had that game. I completely forgot about it.
That was a good time. So I didn't enjoy it as much as my top 5, but it's still a good time.
So
it was on Sega Genesis at least. I don't know if it was on a Nintendo system or not.
I couldn't tell you either.
Yeah, but Bassmaster
we only had
Classics.
like the titular games on Nintendo,
right?
Like the main the Mario games, and then a couple others that I'll save for the reaction show.
Ooh,
because they were originally on my list until I realized that like N64 was also like cartridge games.
Right.
And I was like, oh, holy crap! Those aren't.
Well, you were sitting over there and you're like, I just keep remembering consoles and like, oh, I guess I need to put my top 8 from this console on here.
So that is our honorable mention.
Honorable mentions.
I'm interested to know in what your number 1 is, Garrett.
Oh, it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay.
I adore that game. I cannot tell you how many hours of my life have been wasted on Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Was it really wasted?
Yes.
Was it?
Also, as like a 25-year-old, I went out and found a Sega Genesis to buy strictly so I could play Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I grew up like idolizing my cousin Ryan because he could get to the oil ocean zone before wasting all of his lives. That's like the 5th or 6th level, man. I could get to Casino Nights, and that was it, man.
Casino Nights was hard.
Casino Nights was hard, and then you got to the Hilltop Zone, and game blouses, it's over. I can't ever get past those pissed off red dots. But my cousin Ryan, he could get past Mystic Cave. He could get all the way to Oil Ocean before he had wasted all his lives. And I just thought he was
Oil Ocean was a bitch because it had all those pistons.
Oh yeah, and you gotta get on top. Yeah. And if you missed, it was a fire underneath, and but he could get to Oil Ocean, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's a god. But I spent just a ridiculous amount of time, and I still to this day. Is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Steam?
Honestly, it might be.
If it is, injected into my veins
I think
like it's heroin.
It might be on PlayStation as well. Like they have.
I'm in a bad spot if I could play it with a video game controller in my recliner, and not have to sit like feet away from 2 feet away from the TV.
Let's take a look. Sonic 2,
but
PS4.
Without a doubt, my number one was never in.
Yeah,
It was never in doubt.
They have the Sega Genesis collection on PlayStation 4.
Ugh. That's difficult. That's tough.
Which
Ooh.
it's got Sonic. It's got Sonic 1
I would
on
say,
it.
does it have Sonic 1? Because I'm not interested in that piece of crap. I want Sonic 2. I mean, it starts off with
It's
the
got Golden Axe.
Emerald Hill Zone. Emerald Hill Zone is.
It's got Sonic and Sonic 2.
Oof.
You can get it for
$20.
on Amazon. You can get it for $25.85 Prime right now.
Might make my first ever purchase on the Ring podcast.
Um,
I love it so much.
Let me scroll through here, see if there's anything else that jumps out. There's a couple that jump out at me that I doubt you've ever played. You ever played Golden Axe or Golden Axe 2 or Golden Axe 3?
Nope. If I'm buying this, I'm buying it for Sonic 2.
I know.
I'm paying $25 for Sonic 2 is what I'm doing. So that's my number one. All I'm going to keep doing is sitting here being like, I love it so much.
Sonic 3D Blast.
You got the
Sonic
special
Pinball.
the special zones where you got to
Streets of Rage.
where you got to catch as many rings during the half pipe as possible. I've never beaten Sonic 2.
It's got Virtua Fighter 2 on it. You don't know what that
Don't
is.
care. It's got Sonic 2.
That was one of the
Purchase.
that was one of the few Sega Saturn games I owned. When I owned my Sega Saturn, I only had 3 games for it because they didn't make them.
Right. They went
I had Virtua Cop 2, Virtua Fighter 2,
Ooh.
and maybe a 5th game. I don't remember it if I had. It was probably Time Cop, but the
Virtual Cop Fighter.
The Virtua Cop was you could have the guns and it was an arcade game. You see the arcade games that people playing the cop things. That's what Virtua Cop was, and you could just use both guns. Bang, 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 bang.
Was it an American police officer?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh.
I think so.
I mean, you probably could. Did they just randomly
No, it was in English.
shoot?
Oh,
They just randomly
you-
shoot black people?
I don't think there were any black people in the game.
Oh,
If
of
the-
course there was.
If there were, they were villains because it was.
Because, I mean, it was an American game. It was an American game made in the 90s.
I think you were a white dude or a white chick.
Yeah, you were a cop. This is waiting into bad territory. So Don's number one.
My number one. Do you want to take a guess at it? Because it hasn't been mentioned.
Legend of Zelda.
No, I never really played Legend of Zelda, but that's a solid guess.
See, I thought you were
And
going to
I
be
think-
you don't have Zelda on here. Sorry.
I never really played Zelda
I never
either.
really played it.
The most Zelda I played was Breath of the Wild, which was on the Nintendo Switch, which is technically a cartridge game because they take little cartridges.
Yeah.
This one, I consider 100% a cartridge game. It's Pokemon Yellow.
Okay.
That's a cartridge, in my opinion.
All right. I will Google.
It's in the Game Boy. The original Game Boy, Game Boy Color.
Okay. Yeah, that's a cartridge. Yeah, that's a cartridge.
Pokemon Yellow. So the Nintendo Switch games are like SD cards. So they're technically cartridges, essentially.
No, they're not.
But I've got Pokemon Yellow on here I had the Game Boy Color. I had the original Game Boy, but I eventually got a Game Boy Color, which Pokemon Yellow really shined.
I was gonna say,
Really shined on the Pokemon
looked
Color.
amazing on Pokemon Color.
It was the only one I owned of the Pokemon games. I didn't own Red or Blue. But you got Pikachu at the beginning. It was the only of the Pokemon games you got Pikachu at the beginning as your starter. And then you could catch a Charmander and a Bulbasaur and a Squirtle and go from there. I don't think you could get all 151 Pokemon, but you could get quite a few of them.
So you couldn't catch them all.
No, you couldn't catch them all because they wanted you to either
To
buy the other
more
one or
games.
trade with a friend to get the other ones.
Those
But
sons of bitches.
I couldn't tell you how many different times I've started and beat this game. And as a kid, it probably took 40, 50, 100 hours the first time you beat it, and you're trying to level all your Pokemon up to 100, and you're trying to catch all of the Pokemon in the book, and you're trying to get Mew that was hiding underneath the truck down on Cinnabar Island, but that was just a myth, and he
Yeah.
wasn't actually there. And then you got to go up and down that coastline until you get Missingno, which was like a glitch in the game. And if you caught him, he'd corrupt your game file, and then
God. So you're trying to do that?
well, nobody tells you that that's what he does.
You couldn't just go on the internet and find out why your game is fucked.
But I've even in the last 5 years essentially played through an entire playthrough of Pokemon Yellow, like on PC on like an emulator. And now what's nice is I can speed it up to like 4 times normal speed so that you're not walking at 2 mile an hour. You're flying around at 15 mile an hour and you're skipping through all these fights.
Quickening things up a bit.
It doesn't take 10 minutes per fight. You can blaze through a fight in about 30 seconds if you like 2 or 3 hit them. Yeah, I've got Pokemon Yellow on here, and honestly, as soon as I thought of Pokemon Yellow, nothing
Rocketed straight to the top.
even came close to it at number 1.
But you never had red or blue.
I played Red and Blue. I never owned it, if that makes sense.
Never appreciated him as much as yellow.
No, like I probably played through Blue to get like the starters to trade them to Yellow,
Gotcha.
and then that was it.
And then that was all your interest was.
Right.
Yep. That makes sense. So, no, I never would have guessed Pokemon Yellow as your... but I thought for sure there was going to be a Legend of Zelda somewhere in there.
I played one Legend of Zelda game on 64 a long time ago for like 10 minutes, and I could never... There's like a 10-minute starter at the beginning, and if you didn't do something, like you had to go back in time, and if you didn't, then the game was over, and I could never figure out how to go back in time. So I just kicked chickens.
Sounds like a mentally healthy thing to do. So Don is on Twitter.
At Donnie_G.
I am at Garrett Seawright. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Give us a like, a subscribe, a 5-star review. Help us out however you can. We certainly appreciate it. And we appreciate you listening to our Rank 'em podcast of our favorite cartridge video games.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time right here on the Rank 'em podcast.
I choose you, Pikachu!